No, I'm calling the meeting of the Littleton Historical Commission to order Wednesday, January 8th. We have 3 members here, 1 member on the phone who will be here. She's joining by phone, but she'll be here in half an hour. So I think, yeah, that's the agenda. I think the first item we'll do is 12 Robinson Road. There's yes, I'm sorry. There was something first that, Jonathan, you want to?
I would like to make a motion that the Historical Commission expresses its deepest condolences to our esteemed member, John Ledger, on the loss of his wife, Kathleen. We are very sympathetic to her demise, and we give him our deepest sympathies.
I would like to second that motion.
Yes, I'm all in favor.
Aye.
I'm sure we all agree.
And could we, since it's now an official motion, could we send a copy of that motion to John?
Yes.
Yeah, I did go to the wake, as it were, on the night of whatever it was, Thursday night, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't see the email till too late. I would have grabbed a ride with you, but that's better.
Met his daughter, who I never met before, and he always talks about his hockey playing career at Northeastern, and some of his hockey buddies from that many years ago were there. I had a chance to talk to one of them anyway. So it was nice. I think he appreciated it.
Okay, the next item, I think we'll start with 12 Robinson Road. According to our preservation restriction, we are required to give the current owner, Joe Cataldo, a letter that states his compliance with the preservation restriction. And that's actually so here's a copy of a draft letter that we could send. I think I should run it by town council just to make sure everything's okay. And Rachel, I'm going to read this out loud for you.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Probably for the minutes, it's better if you just give her a copy of it.
No, right, but since we're going to vote on it,
Oh,
I
okay.
was going to read it to her because, yeah. But I will I will give her a copy.
Because there's lots of things like book 12.
Yeah, right. No, I will give this to her for the minutes, but because she's, for attendance purposes, I'm going to read it to you. All right, let me know if you can hear it, Rachel. On behalf of the town of Littleton, through the Littleton Historical Commission, the LHC, and pursuant to the historic preservation restriction, the preservation restriction, in quotes, dated January 11th, 2024, recorded in the Middlesex South Registry of Deeds, and gives the book number and the page number, between the town of Littleton, Massachusetts, and Joseph A. Cataldo Jr., restricting certain real property located at 12 Robinson Road, Littleton, Massachusetts, 01460. The LHC confirms that the 2024 rehabilitation project undertaken on the property conforms with the approved plans, including approved revisions to that plan throughout the course of the project, and further meets the intent of clause 9.5, evidence of compliance of the preservation restriction. And I'll read you 9.5 from the preservation restriction. It says, upon request by grantor, grantee shall, and we're the grantee, shall promptly furnish grantor with certification that, to the best of grantee's knowledge, the grantor is in compliance with the obligations of grantor contained herein, or that otherwise evidences the status of this agreement to the extent of grantee's knowledge thereof.
Is this bootstrap language? Did this come from somewhere? It's
This letter
very-
language?
Very legal.
Shanti developed this.
Fantastic. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, do we,
Any comments about the language other than,
I think the language is great.
okay, and I will run it by town council, just to make sure.
Yeah.
So,
so,
do I have a motion? Well, yeah,
I'll make a motion that Linda, on behalf of the Littleton Historic Commission, we approve the letter as submitted and give you the permission to sign the letter and submit it to pending approval by town legal counsel and submit it to Joe Cataldo.
do I have a second?
second,
All in, I think, yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Rachel?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. The next thing, is, I don't think I've mentioned this before, actually it came in pretty recently. There was a CPC application submitted recently from us and a joint application from us and the Cemetery Commission to do additional work at the West Lawn Cemetery. And I didn't send it all to you because it's exactly like the last one.
certainly you sent some of it to us.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, I did send it to
You
you?
did.
Oh, I
Both
did.
of them.
Oh, the
Yes.
eligibility and the funding?
Yes,
Okay, all right, that's fine. I have copies of the eligibility here if anybody wants it.
I read it.
Okay.
I did as well.
Rachel, you got that too, I guess?
If it's in the email, then yeah.
Okay, so basically, just to, since you're on the phone, a brief summary that's part of the eligibility application says, the Littleton Cemetery Commission and Historical Commission are seeking additional CPA funds in this current application for the fifth phase of the project, which shall consist of hiring professionals to continue rehabilitation / conservation work on approximately 18 to 20 additional gravestones / monuments within West Lawn's old historical section. So I think that's exactly what last year said, but you have the applications, apparently. I did send it to you. So, since we're a co-applicant, I think we need to approve this before next week's CPC meeting. So any discussion of this?
Looks like we're
No, I
moving
think
on.
it's a great job.
Looks like we're moving on. I haven't seen the latest work. I should wend my way somewhere up to the cemetery when I'm driving to the dump or something like that and have a look at it. Has anybody seen it?
We had a public comment, actually, from somebody who was walking through and wondered what was going on, why there was some nice, clean, white stones. So when we explained it, he was very pleased, so it's noticed.
Mhm.
My question is, so this is phase 5 and in our earlier phases, we did some stones. I wonder if there's like an average length of time that the stone sort of stays in that preserved condition until it begins to deteriorate back, and at which point, on average, the stone gets to the point that it sort of needs another rehabilitation. I'm just wondering in the sense of like, as we systematically go through the assessment of stones that needed repair, at what point do we start to almost loop around and have to worry about
Well, I know at the cemetery, we've talked about what we should do is get some knowledge ourselves to how to, like, if you don't have to clean a stone as bad as they are, if we could take those and in 2 or 3 years when they start to get dirty, if we can do
Yes.
some, legwork ourselves. So we had talked about asking the Fannons if they would teach some of us, which I think they're happy to do.
like a workshop?
Because they used to do workshops for us in the past.
That's a great idea. great
So
idea.
we can definitely, I think, jointly figure that out.
Sort of wash the car as opposed to having it repainted.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah, certainly some of the work should last for a very long time. I mean,
Yeah,
the work of putting the stones back together again,
right.
relaminating them or whatever you call it. I mean, they've been delaminated, so maybe you
Mhm.
relaminate
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
You know, that should last many years and even otherwise. I mean, they haven't been cleaned probably for
Ever?
hundreds of years, so, so whatever is done will will make them better for a long time, but yeah, it would be good if we.
And we can ask Pen and Lear that question.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they would
No,
know.
I like the idea, of doing a workshop, getting some
Yeah.
skills and, working together with the cemetery commission to sort of try and, preserve our investment.
Good
But I do
idea.
agree with Jonathan that they're doing work that far exceeds just simple cleaning. They have that picture book where they show how they re-cement and recover and stuff that I don't think we'll ever be able to do. So,
No, and hopefully it'll last for
yeah,
a long, long time. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I don't know why some stones deteriorate more than others, but certainly some of them, you can still read the inscriptions and so on. 200 years,
Yeah.
250,
You wanna know my guess? Water.
Mm,
I bet you that if there's water inside some stones, the higher water, like I know this for wood, because, but, the water content, maybe inside of the stone is really the determinant, because that's probably why they crack, right? Some crack, some don't. It's probably the ones with some water in it when they freeze and then expand and contract. And probably what makes them crack.
mm. Right, depending on which trees they're under, what roots are underneath. and,
Yeah.
You know,
and just what kind of stones.
what kind of stone, yeah.
Yeah.
So do I have a motion that this commission, is happy to be a co-sponsor, a co-applicant on this CPC application for work at West Lawn Cemetery?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Great.
Aye.
Okay, great. So the next thing, maybe, let's see, Rachel, how far away are you?
Maynard?
You may not, okay. Oh yeah, both of these next items kind of, all the next three items need you. Okay, so let me think how I'm gonna do this. All right, then maybe what I'll do is, I'll switch to some, member updates, which I have. One is for the Durkee Farmhouse and Barn. A few weeks ago, I had a meeting with me and two members of the Affordable Housing Trust and the building commissioner. And that was a good meeting. And then I attended by Zoom the next Affordable Housing Trust meeting. And then we had the site visit, or was that before that? I think that was before those meetings. But most recently, I've heard that the town may be leaning towards selling the house because they're not sure that the house is amenable to rehabilitation for affordable housing purposes, but they do want to use the barn for affordable housing. In either case, though, I think whatever the disposition of the house becomes, I've been told that they do want this commission's input for historic preservation for the house and the barn. And the select board is starting to develop an RFP for possible sale of the house. And I don't know whether that would include, frankly, in the RFP rehabilitation of the barn for affordable housing. It might be both together, now that I think about it. So they do want our input. So we've been asked to sort of start as a starting point with the 12 Robinson Road RFP, since that's the only RFP we have that we've ever really done this for, and see if there's things in there that we can keep and use for language for this site. So my thought is to first have me and Shanti go through that and make notes and changes and what can be kept and what needs to be changed, and then have this whole commission take a look at that. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds like a very good idea, Olivia.
Okay,
Yes.
all right, so that's the status of that.
Just a question, so, I know that the Affordable Housing Commission
Trust.
is sort of it's an independent, but it is town related, so that means that because they had ownership, there'll be a historical deed restriction.
Is that a statement or a question?
That's a question.
That's what, we're trying to figure that out. So we're gonna. That's the,
CPC funds were used.
Right,
that's the thing, Rachel. I'm pretty sure that CPC funds were used, but not historical. Right, we
I'm
think
not sure what
Right.
funds were used for what,
Housing.
it would be affordable housing funds, we think,
for what?
for the town to purchase that.
No, it was
donated.
basically donated.
Well, that's
Or I
what we
think-
thought, but I think that the town ended up paying $100 so that they could have an actual sale. I didn't know.
I
that
thought maybe it was
until-
$1, but
I
whatever.
heard $1, I heard $50, now
Yeah,
$100.
I,
But some nominal
So,
sum that,
so the question is, if it's such a nominal fee, would that pertain, would a first of all, historical funds were probably not used.
not used.
So then it's possible that because any CPC funds were used, maybe historical preservation restriction is needed. We need to find the answer to that question by asking town council. Somebody's asking them, I believe. And then the second question, if historical CPC funds were not used, I mean, if they were used, then probably yes, historical preservation restriction is required, but if CPC funds that were not historical, that were affordable housing were used, then is a historical preservation restriction required. In either case, though, it sounds like the town is amenable to having our input. So we'll go forward with this approach and we'll
So
get
I
this.
think,
yeah.
I mean, my guess would be that historic preservation restriction is not required, but certainly could be, could be placed on it, maybe not as strict as for one where it was required, though even there you see how much was changed anyway. But I mean, maybe we could make some kind of a deal whereby if the historical commission would commit some of a historic CPA, I guess we should call it CPA funding, that then it would go, along with that, would go a historic deed restriction. Again, we could have it not as restrictive as the one we had on the 12 Robinson Road House. For example, require that the windows be in the same place, but not that they be the same historic windows or something.
Mhm.
I mean, those are, again, I don't know the ins and outs of all of that, whether there are, because I hate those ones with a little, like these, the ones with the plastic splits.
Oh, minions and.
Mullions, I think they're called, but anyway, the ones that have anyway, but so some kind of things like that, maybe
I agree with you.
we could have,
I agree with you. And I think some of the other town board folks are on board with that, but some of these questions have to be answered and more discussions, but I agree with you. I think that's the way to go.
I was gonna say, I'll tell you that I think that, I agree with Jonathan in principle. And I deviate in two areas. The first is, for me, I would feel like if any CPA funding, was used, if a historical deed restriction can be applied, I think we should aggressively pursue applying it, even if it's potentially not required if there is any way, and I wouldn't approve the use of any historical CPA funds without such a restriction.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
And then, if the board's input is truly requested from other town parties, I feel like, our recommendation would be, we would need a historical deed restriction, keep the property as is. And then the other place I deviate slightly from Jonathan is, how restrictive it is. I think that we should get guidance, from our historical experts, and really, we need to preserve the historical fabric, and that determines, not us deciding this or that, but literally, if the deed restriction's in place, we need to go as far as we need to go, wherever that line may be, to keep the historical fabric intact. I'm not sure there's be a lot of value if it's really watered down and doesn't really preserve, the historical fabric.
I agree with you, but as we see even with the 12 Robinson Roadhouse, where we had a very strict deed restriction, a lot of things are not, it's,
Sure, 100%, but
Right, so
but
like,
it's a win though.
yeah.
Right? 12 Robinson Road is a win.
Yes,
and I
right.
think that
So if we can have
Grimes
a win like
Lane
that,
should be a win. Like, we should work hard on getting a win.
I agree with that. I'm not opposed. Well stated, Andrew.
yeah. It's tricky when things like a kitchen is not worth preserving because it's from the whatever 1950s and it's not worth preserving, then you could end up with a whole new kitchen. Like, so that's the balance that we have to
Yeah.
try to find.
100%. And again, this is where it goes to purpose, right? So, if it's Julia Child's kitchen, then you preserve the historical fabric of Julia Child's kitchen as it was when, all those shows were, so that's where it gets to be the rub. Like, if we are looking at a museum, preservation is different than if we are looking at trying to get, modern housing.
Yeah, I don't know, who they're gonna sell the house to. If they decide to sell it, it might be a private individual,
Yeah.
not part of the affordable housing part of the property. I don't know, so.
So I'm actually fairly excited about this news, because when we did have our joint meeting with the, folks, from the trust, I was very concerned about the economics as presented, because the house, needs some work. Market rates are what they are, construction rates are what they are, materials are high right now, and I had very high concerns that, we would either be, infeasible to do a restoration, or we would have to make a significant contribution to offset the cost to make it affordable housing. So I think that this is a potential win for us in the sense that we could potentially, partner with maybe a private builder or a private owner, and, I'm not sure, but I'm just saying, I think that this is more likely to be successful.
Mhm. Yeah, I
But
agree.
if, the one thing I would say is if it's a matter of using some of our funds to see that it's preserved or better preserved, I'm not opposed to using some of our funds. I mean, what are they for? We have this big hunk of money there. I mean, that doesn't do us any good just sitting there. And if we can use it for something valuable, in preservation terms, I would,
I don't disagree.
support.
No, I agree. When I think of, for us, a fairly large sum of money that we have in CPC, which is wonderful. I could see that being split between the Durkee property and the Orchard property, the main house at the Orchard and possibly the barn. So, both of those sites are gonna take a lot of work and a lot of money.
Have you heard anything more about barn possibilities? I overheard somebody vaguely talking about it, but
You mean the Orchard?
the orchard, excuse me.
Yes, I did hear a little more. they have a lease, a
Oh.
lessee, whatever it's called.
Yes.
The person, I don't know who it is, but they are supposedly, and you know, this is, I could have the information wrong, but my understanding is this person is going to do everything in containers. Don't ask me how that works, but that's what I've heard. They are interested in leasing the, you know, the farmland, the AP, that's under APR, Agriculture Preservation Restriction. In addition, separately, because the house is, and all the structures are not part of the APR, just the land with the trees are under the APR. But this person or company or whoever is also interested in possibly using or purchasing, I think, the house and the barn. So that's good news. So as my understanding, and Carolyn, you can correct me, as long as the town owns the house and the barn, and this is also true for Durkee, because we can only use CPC funds, I believe, for municipal or nonprofit use. You can't use it once you have a private owner. I don't believe we can give CPC funds to private owner. So that's,
Are
you
you
know,
sure about that?
There has to be a public component to it.
Right.
So if the private owner was gonna open it as a museum, we might be able to, but if they're going to live in it, then not the way we're structured. You could put I think like Arlington has a fund that they fund that you can get like low-cost loans through for repair, but that's, I think, the only way to do
Because
it.
I mean, I don't know anything about this except that, and again, it's come up recently on the Mass Historical Commission listserv. Because there's a question about money going to churches, and clearly that's not a public entity, and money has been given to churches.
that's in the past. I think there's a new law that a few years ago that said you can't use
It
it.
was
No?
a legal decision.
Yes.
And it's
It's
been
a-
contested, and,
Oh.
you know, some people have used it for things that
It
are on
depends
the
on-
borderline or
right.
something, but in any case, it has been used by church, by religious organizations, which of course are not public.
Right,
entities.
but wait, they would argue that some of these churches are open to the public for events. You don't, it's not people who
Because you-
belong to the
You can
church.
go to any church you want, so, or if you want, like when we were talking about the stained glass windows that we did, although now those would probably be considered religious iconography, you probably wouldn't do them.
Right,
At the time, we said, anybody can go in and look at them, you can see them from the outside, so it is, they do have public access to it.
but what I was thinking more of is like some churches have events, like community events that have nothing to do with the religion or the church, it's town events. Anyway, that's that's what they say sometimes. All right, so, couple of other member updates.
I'm parking, I'm on my way in.
Oh, great.
See you in a second.
Yep,
She made good time for
you
Maynard.
did make good
I know
time.
it. She did better between Maynard and Littleton.
Yeah.
than Sudbury and Maynard.
I never drive to Maynard except once in an enormously long while, and I realize it doesn't take any time at all to get
No,
to
I know
Maynard.
it. To go to the movie theater, it's like a 15-minute drive.
You know, I never go there, but
It's a nice little downtown.
It is
I
a
guess.
I should call it my endocrinologist is
Oh,
in Maynard.
oh.
It's through Emerson, but she has her office in Maynard.
Probably the same when I
And
go.
so every so often I go there, like once a year. I'm saying, no time at all to
No,
get
it
there.
really doesn't. It's cute.
There he is. Thanks,
Wow,
Rachel.
Rachel, that's record time. Thank
Record
you for
time.
being so good.
I'll tell you how the sausage is made, but yeah, good at getting where I need to get.
All right, while you're getting settled, I'll do just a couple of other minor, well, sort of minor updates. A couple of things came in the mail. The one that I assume isn't too controversial for this commission is a letter came from, I think this is a AECOM, I think that's a firm, anyway. They wrote us on behalf of the Mass DOT. Mass DOT wants to put in a new EV charging station at the point. And they have some up there already,
They do,
but I guess they're either expanding it or putting it in somewhere else there.
okay.
Well, and those are, Tesla.
Yeah, blah, 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 let's see. The parking lot of the shopping center near Anthony's Coal Fired Pizza and Wings and the Digital Federal Credit Union at 0 Constitution Ave has been chosen. And I guess I don't have the map here. So, you know, I don't know that this,
Is there any ask or is it just a notification?
it's a notification. I'm asking that you notify me of, oh, here. They have a map, which unfortunately I don't have, and I could pick it up on my computer, but I don't
I
think you
know,
need
I
it.
know, I got the gist.
Right, is in the process, Mass DOT is in the process of evaluating the potential environmental impacts associated with the project. To assist in this evaluation, I'm asking that you notify me of any concerns relative to the project's potential impact on environmental, social, economic, or cultural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, endangered species, and natural heritage. So they don't say cultural heritage, which would be more under our purview. But they did send this to us specifically,
That's great.
so that's good.
A
So,
bit of a catch-all
yeah,
message, like, is it to us specifically or is it,
well, actually, this letter
yeah,
came to us specifically,
okay.
to this commission specifically. And then they say it's been sent to these other government, Littleton government people and boards. So does this commission have any comments for this project?
Does it affect us?
I don't think it
I don't think
does.
it affects any
Well, that's the thing, I don't think it's in our scope.
I don't either, but I thought I'd read
Yeah.
it since it came in.
Yeah.
Okay, so no comments, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
No concerns.
all right.
Good luck to their charging station.
And then I think this is the last member update I have. Oh. Okay, well, I have one other one. This one is that, this is also Mass DOT. They want to rehabilitate the bridge over 119, on Route 119 over 495. Originally constructed in 1960, had 2 rehabilitations, most recently 1988. Now, they say here that the project area is northwest of the Inventory Littleton Common District and the Old Burying Ground. So they do mention that in their letter. And the project will be supported in part with federal funds, therefore will require review under section 106 of the National Historic Preservation Act. That's why they've sent it to us. Mass DOT requests that the Littleton Historical Commission review the enclosed materials and solicit any comments regarding historic properties may be within or adjacent to the project area, and then it tells where we can send comments. So I do have a map here.
Yep, I think I know the bridge they're talking about.
I think I know it
Is it
too,
the King?
Yep,
on 119.
great road.
Going toward the point.
Oh, okay,
With all
yeah,
the traffic
yeah.
lights.
Is that a,
Going towards the point?
yeah,
no,
well,
okay.
119, yeah.
Well, depending on,
Yeah,
if you're
right.
starting from here, going to.
Right, okay, yeah.
If you're already at the point going away from the point.
Right. Okay. So, I don't think it impacts, I mean, what do people think? Are there any historic resources that are impacted by this?
The mill building is probably the
Yeah.
closest.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. But that wouldn't be impacted, would it, by this?
Unless they were doing like blasting. or,
No, it's,
you know,
yeah,
something, so. Right, it's just,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I'll read you a little bit more of it. Following the latest inspection on October 10th, 2022, wow. The assessment of the different bridge component conditions had led to the proposed project being a full deck replacement with new bridge barrier and curbing, new sidewalks on both sides, and repair and repainting of existing bridge beams. There will be limited highway work, including curbs, guards, and pavement and sidewalk reconstruction to meet the existing conditions. The current traffic lane configurations will be maintained with compatible traffic management elements. The proposed improvements will extend the life of the bridge and increase the safety for users crossing 495. So that's really it.
Well, I feel better now, because if they were gonna widen it, then I'd be concerned, because the mill building being south of that location. We could, you know, because you start with widening the bridge, and then people say, oh, let's make another lane, and that would be a problem.
Well, it's interesting, because I thought they had been talking about that because of the mess that they're gonna put at the common and how they're gonna have to, you know,
Yeah.
do something. So I was surprised to read that it's staying the same.
Maybe this is staying the same, but who knows what's gonna come after that.
Right.
Well, I think it's staying the same because this is a relatively minor repair. If they were to build a new bridge, they might make it bigger, but that's a whole other, whole other matter. That would be a much, much larger project than what they had supposed to
Right.
do.
Anyway, I don't think of it.
Yeah, so-
So.
No
for that
comments
reason,
from
I
this
don't think we
commission?
have any.
No.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I want to make sure. So I think the next thing,
And honestly, the
yeah,
bridge is, the bridge is quite far from the mill.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I understand the concern.
Yeah.
All right, I think next, as much as you're not gonna believe it, we have to talk about historic plaques again. I know.
No, I'm so sorry. I never responded to your email.
Oh.
I thought I looked at the website. I did see everything.
Okay,
I just never.
okay, that's okay. I have better stuff. I have in-person catalogs now.
Oh,
So this is what happened. I think I told you at our last meeting, maybe I didn't know then, that place that I was gonna use is going out of business. Did
Oh,
I not tell you that?
you do not tell us.
Well, that might have happened. I might have heard that since our last meeting.
Oh, my
I
goodness,
couldn't believe it. I'm like, we have to start from scratch now,
this is a shock.
after all this. So, right, it is funny. So I looked around, I saw a place in Marlboro, but then I found a place in Chelmsford that's right near my gym. So it's very convenient. I went there last week. The woman who actually was the president of this firm has been in business for 30 years. She's the one I talked to on the phone and in person. She's very nice. I think this is where we're gonna get our plaques after all this.
Yeah.
Um,
Good. Oh, yeah.
she gave me all kinds of materials. This is from the old place, the one that's going out of business, but, so she just said if I want to take an example of what, something they've done is to show you this.
Well, the town of Little, Lexington.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
wonderful.
So that's one example that they've done. What I want you to look at, and I'm sorry to do this again, but it's not my fault, is the colors. I know.
I cannot
See, I
believe the
like that
place.
color. I think that's
going
the
out.
color we should choose.
We're
I
gonna
can't
go.
believe the place is going out of
I
business.
can't either after all
After
this
these
time.
months of pouring through all the specifications,
I agree. Unbelievable.
absolutely heartbreaking.
Unbelievable. So it might be best, since I only have one catalog, we might just want to huddle over the table and take a look at these. Maybe we'll do it over there.
I get that this is a classic, but to me, it all blends
That's
and
right.
you don't
It's
see
classic,
it.
and
And
that's the way it should
no,
be, because
no.
people have been doing that for centuries.
All right, so what I've done, based on our discussions we've had since up until now, over all these months, I thought I thought that the colors, that's hard to tell because it's plastic. So let's look at this first.
Can I just ask,
Yeah,
are we sure it applies only because that says paint?
she
Is that really
said,
paint?
that's not paint, but she said we could choose from these
Oh, okay,
colors.
okay.
So just to go back, this is from the people who do the plaques.
Yes,
And this says most popular background colors. So they are just the brown, texture. She suggested this one. I think we'll go with whatever she suggests because she knows what she's talking about. But, so these are the, brownish colors, but she did also direct me to this page.
Mhm.
And she said we could pick from these colors. It may cost a little more, but we can do this. So the ones in the past, I thought that we kind of liked was a dark blue, a dark green,
On the brown and
and then the brown and the medium bronze. So those are the ones that I thought we take a look.
I'm okay with the brown as long as it's the aluminum lettering. I don't like what is it, the bronze lettering on brown. It just doesn't have enough.
The other one, let's see, where was it?
Here.
I wrote down the page number.
I just saw it. Yeah. So these are too yellow to go with the brown. This has a good contrast and it's attractive and people will see it. This blends. Unless you're walking right by it, you don't see it. You just don't.
But that's actually aluminum.
That's
isn't it?
aluminum, which we don't want. So we
Right.
want bronze. You don't like this?
As long as it's going to contrast with the background well enough. This just doesn't contrast.
I understand what Rachel's saying. This
Yes.
really, you can't really see that very well, frankly.
No, not from a
I
distance.
can see it, but
From
Well, yeah,
here, but that's why the white with the black
Right.
shows.
Right.
You know?
White
It's
on
just-
black,
The
really?
one that we have now.
Yeah.
Oh, I see
So
what
like
you're
this,
saying.
when you
Mhm.
drive by something like that, you know,
Yeah.
oh, but you.
Well, that's what
you can't
Rachel's
tell.
saying,
And
is that
especially
that's like
on-
black and white,
Well,
right?
we have other contrasts, like if we look at these colors, supposedly we can pick anything on this page for the background. So maybe we choose something that has more contrast, whether it's a green. I mean, I know Rachel likes the blue, but
Well, I just think the blue, I love the green. Look, green's my favorite, and it's a complementary color with the bronze, if you're going for that kind of thing, but as a contrasting color, I would say the blue.
what if
Or maybe a
a lighter
lighter
green, a little lighter green? The reason, this is
Or a
nothing
medium.
that's sort of the blue that, when I talked to this woman, she said, oh, well, we've only seen blue used with handicap signs. I'm like, oh, great. And there's an example in here of handicap signs.
Yeah, we don't wanna make it look like a handicap.
because there's certain colors that are
Right.
standard for one
Right.
thing and another,
Right.
like red for fire and,
Sure, so that does make sense. And
So maybe
yeah.
maybe
Maybe
lighter
light-
green. Maybe she can give us a
If we
sample
could,
of
yeah,
this.
we could get a sample and just.
What do you guys
see.
think for color?
I'm a traditionalist. I
Yeah,
go with
you
that
like that.
color. I think that's what you
It also,
want.
because then if it's on the stone wall, it's like the Fox Run Tower. I walked by that so many times before I realized there was a plaque on that. How many times have I driven by on Russell Street? I didn't know there was a
Looking for it.
plaque until the guy said
I
it.
didn't know either.
No,
Right.
it was,
What do you think, Andrew?
I agree with the point that, my suspicion is that if we have the background painted, may wear off, and so we may end up with this.
that's fair point.
And so I say, like, if we wanna do a navy or something, I'm good with that initially, and then I think the question would be, how will it weather down?
Okay.
They claim our paint is guaranteed for life.
Who's like,
Yeah.
right, because as this gets dirty, as this lettering gets dirty, it's only going to further look like the brown behind it.
But you look at plaques that have been around for hundreds of years and they look like that. And you can still read them and you can still see them. The Historical Society building has all these Civil War soldiers' names and you can see them perfectly well.
Is that outdoors?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do actually like the way this sign is constructed, because your eyes are pulled immediately to sort of this, town of Lexington. I wonder if we should do something where we put the actual name of what you know what I'm saying? So that you kind of meet if you drive by and you can only see one thing, you would at least see the location, you know what I'm saying? And it would stick out, and it actually looks like it's the center on the plaque, right? Cause this all kind of blends in.
Yep, well, I mean, that's also just a design element. It depends on what we have on the plaques.
Yes,
But yeah.
design
The
element.
first one,
I like the design element.
I'm not gonna argue because some of you are much more design people than I am. I just,
Well,
I feel
what's our
that-
objective? Is it for people to see it and to read it, or to be
you can't,
homogenous?
when people drive by, they can't read it in any
True.
case.
Sure, but
I
they
mean,
can at
if they
least
try
see
and read
that
it,
it's
they'll
there.
kill themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I love seeing historic markers, but you know, you drive by the historic markers in New Hampshire and you absolutely can't read them.
Sure.
I mean, you know, the one thing you might read would be the main designation, the name, the main name of what it is.
So
Like that.
our
And I-
first one would be the meeting house. So I was thinking
Yeah.
meeting house would be the
That's the,
catchphrase.
yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you like that color. What's your choice?
I could do either.
Okay.
Honestly, I mean, both points, I think.
So if you had a choice of brown, let's call that brown. Is this black or brown? I'm
gonna
not
call
sure.
that dark.
Okay, I think that's probably dark brown. We'll assume that's, so if you have a choice of dark brown, dark blue, or green, which would you pick?
I'd probably pick dark blue.
And you like the blue.
I'm partial to the blue for this.
And I'm probably partial to the green. Carolyn, what do you think?
I think, maybe, I could go with the blue.
All right, so,
I guess out of the three, I don't. Favorite.
so I think what I want though is something darker than this, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, oh yeah, no.
This
I mean,
is sort of
Yes, I
a
agree.
weird
That's
blue.
not
It
the
was a
right
weird blue, but again, it was clear. Do you still have the green?
Yeah.
I know that,
Let me see, yeah, I do somewhere. Let me see where it disappeared.
I like the idea of green better
I
than.
love the
blue,
idea of
but
green. I'm, again,
Will it show up?
it's my heart and soul, but,
Well, here's the thought. Can we ask this nice people
Yeah,
to make us,
a little sample.
yes,
I go
Oh,
stand
I'm sorry.
in the back. Which one do you see?
Drive.
That far away? Oh, God.
Well,
I just-
Well, there's so little.
Here. Which one has a contrast? Which one are you seeing?
you see the blue.
I agree, see the blue.
Yeah,
This one's the blue one. This one's the one you see?
it shows up a little bit better.
Yeah.
The blue.
I think it depends where you stand.
So.
Hi, chart. What is this letter?
My eyes are bad, so I
can see Tom.
You can only see the large ones. None of those can you see the smaller writing, except unless you're standing next to it or walking by or
No, but if I.
stop driving. You can see the main thing. You can see town of Lexington there. That's all you can see.
Is that the blue?
Of course, the lettering on the blue is shinier.
And it's a figure as well on
It's
the
more
blue.
contrasting. It's shinier because it's contrasting.
And pick up, do the green again, do you have the green?
I didn't burn the green.
All committee members stand in the corner.
Again, I like this color green.
I do too.
I'm quite partial to it, but I just,
It's kind of naturey.
Yeah, so you think it doesn't stand out is what you're saying? Yeah,
Either the brown or the blue.
okay.
I'm afraid the green.
I know.
I want better, I want more from the green too.
I like the green, but that seems like we agree it doesn't do it,
It's too, yeah.
something.
It's
All
not
right.
a contrast.
So I think from what we're saying, I'm gonna ask them for a sample of darker blue than that.
Yes.
And,
Yes.
and maybe something larger.
Yeah, maybe something larger than
Yeah.
that, yes, okay.
Cause maybe when we see it larger, it's gonna look.
Yeah,
Yeah.
attractive.
yeah, okay,
They may not have,
But they may not have them.
they may not have it because they
Right.
probably haven't kept samples of every different color.
right.
Right.
But you know, since this other place gave us these little samples, maybe they could come up with some sort of sample for us. Since I'm gonna tell them we're doing quite, several different plaques, it's not just one plaque.
Yeah.
I did tell her that. And then she gave us this to look at, but it's very hard to look at the plastic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're
You know.
too shiny, it's.
Yeah,
I definitely think that for the commitment, we should see if we can, even if we have to pay a little bit of money for a sample, like,
true,
like,
yeah.
they can make us a.
Yeah.
I'd even be fine to go with all three, a little blue, a little green and a little.
Samples?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can.
we'll see what she says.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
okay, good. They're done with that for the moment. Let's go
Along the agony.
All right,
I still cannot believe the place.
I can't either.
At least it's before you ordered them.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Right,
My
However,
windows that
if
I
we could have
ordered.
picked the color earlier.
True.
We might have kept the place in business.
It's actually our fault that they're.
Yeah. No, keep fighting. There's a big deal coming through. There's a big deal. As soon as they pick the color.
Well, you have no idea why if they go out of business, why that is.
I think
I
they
mean, sometimes.
couldn't make enough money.
Oh, really? You think that
I
was
think
it?
that's what it was.
Because I mean, sometimes it's people retiring
Yeah.
and just deciding they don't want to do it.
Well, it makes,
anymore.
it makes me sad because, you know, our sign maker died.
Yes, that's right. That's why we're in this mess.
Yeah, and now
Well, that's-
our
Maybe it
plaque
is-
maker is out of business.
Maybe it is us.
All right, so then. All right, the next thing, we're getting towards the end, is to go over the PowerPoint presentation for our presentation at the select board at the end of February.
Mhm.
Right? Remember that? Yeah, okay.
Am I doing anything for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to, yeah, so let me,
What am I doing? Just the 250th?
yes, just the
Okay.
250th, yes. Let me see if I can, supposedly these are on, or, yeah, but he wants us to turn them off before we leave. Supposedly this will work.
What day is?
What day is the presentation?
Yeah.
February 24th, I think. I have to confirm that, but I think so.
Fine, so as long as it's not February break.
Oh, I don't know, is it?
That's, and that isn't.
Okay. Oh, good, it's already working, good.
Hmm. Fantastic.
All right, let's see.
Wonders of modern technology.
Sometimes
When
it
it
works.
Yeah, right.
All right, so here,
These Zoom meetings of my college class,
Oh,
oh boy,
usually they work.
so both of them are working.
that's a nice plaque.
What?
That's a nice plaque.
That is a nice plaque, that's not one we have to redo, and, yeah.
And you see, it doesn't have a bright color in it.
Yes.
Right, but it does look, yeah, anyway,
I've never seen it. Where is that?
it's, I don't remember.
That's the one on Newtown Road, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's on Newtown Road.
I drive on Newtown Road all the time. Never seen
She's
it.
never seen
Yeah,
it.
but you can't because.
It's like in the bushes in front of the house.
That, by that red house right on the corner, and if you looked at it, you would be killed by the car coming towards you.
Oh.
It's
At
on a curve.
high rate of speed.
Red House, like if you're
Right
on
before-
Padawan.
No, on Newtown, right before the self-storage place.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're going, if you're.
Near your
going
mother's house?
There, toward Maynard, you have the self-storage place and you go around
Yeah.
that corner, that red house that's kind of buried.
It's one of the oldest houses in.
Newtown heading toward.
Acton.
All right, so first
Anyway,
I
was,
even know that I know that.
anyway,
I think. Okay. You'll look for this.
so on this first cover page of the presentation, I was gonna add a couple more photos.
can I ask, is this on a template? Did they send us a?
No,
No,
we could do whatever we
we
want.
could do whatever we
Yeah, if
want.
you have one change the design, that's fine with me.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, no,
It
anything.
just
Would
helps
you
to
rather
know.
have blue on the front?
Well, we know that Linda is partial to green. She's already let that out.
Apparently.
So
No,
that's-
I'm open to any design changes, whatever. So I was gonna add a couple more photos on the front page here of 12 Robinson maybe, and the cemetery restoration and the orchard. Or maybe some of those on the back pages.
So my thought would be this.
Yes.
Just feedback
Yeah.
is, the slides, if you go to the next one, you can see it's pretty high density text.
True,
And what I would recommend you do is pick just a few of the projects and throw the picture of one of those projects. So
Okay.
maybe
Good
you have
idea.
more than one ongoing project slides,
yep,
maybe I'll have three. But that would put 3 projects on each slide and then include one photo of one of those 3 projects so that
good idea,
you sort of capture the audience visually.
absolutely. You're right, I think that's a great idea. All right, so any comments on the design or content of this slide in addition to Andrew's comment?
No comments on content. Everybody has to make comments on design.
No,
That's the easy part.
That's easy, yeah,
That's
we
what
do.
everybody does.
no, but I want comments on content too.
What if you change CPC funds to CPA funds?
Okay,
Like, as Jonathan pointed out, they really are the CPA funds.
okay,
I would have fewer letters, fewer words.
like,
Yes, I would.
Well, like new historic plaques.
just that,
Yeah, and then explain.
fine,
Yeah.
that's
Right,
fine.
right, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
those
yeah.
signs, you don't need the homeowner fund, you can say that, like.
That's-
So here's a thought, just a thought, but maybe the first slide is what we do. Right, so we are
Oh.
responsible for the
Who
demolition,
are we?
for the demolition delay law, and I would include pictures of 12 Robinson Road. Saying, look, here's a property, came before us, we said you couldn't tear it down. Town bought it, it's rehabilitated.
Well, wait a minute, I'm a little confused, because I thought what you're saying is after the title page,
Yep,
the next slide should sort of be our mission, no?
yeah,
Am I
what
in-
we do, what we do.
But why would 12 Armistead go on that one?
Well, as an example of the so we have the demolition delay law. That's really what we do. That's
Wait,
what
wait.
we're incorporated.
Hang on for a minute, the second slide, I thought you're saying should be our mission.
Okay, our
Historical
mission.
is to blah, 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 blah.
Sure.
Okay,
Preserve
then the
historical.
third slide would be the ongoing projects,
No,
and,
I think the third slide should be what we do.
but that's what I'm getting confused about.
Well,
What do
we
you
can have a
mean by what we
mission,
do?
we can have a mission and a vision,
Yeah,
fine with that. But then there's what we do, and what we really do is we enforce the demolition delay law.
yeah,
We hold the Patriots Day celebration every year.
yeah.
Like, I think that those are the
We do all
things,
these things. That's what we do. I mean,
Right,
I
but
don't
that's
see-
what all this is,
Yeah,
exactly.
those are ongoing projects.
Mhm.
Specific projects, you're saying less specific.
Yeah, and sort of like what we do, like.
All right, so what else besides
We
demolition?
do house signs, like those are the things, they're ongoing projects because it's what we do, it's like it's our,
I think, Andrew, I think your idea of saying what we do rather than ongoing projects is a good one that sort of gives it better forceful, it makes it more forceful, so on. But on the other hand, this, having the specificity that Linda's put in here,
oh, I don't think that this should go anywhere. I just think that we're missing a step.
Okay,
I think it's great to say all the things we're actively involved in, but I think you're missing the step of sort of saying, you know, what does the House Ways and Means Committee do?
right, I get you.
Here's the bill.
I
in
would
front
say
of the House.
preserve the historic character of Littleton.
That's our mission.
That's our mission, right, which is really important, and then there's the things that we're largely responsible for.
Which is
Those are
demolition to,
these.
huh?
And those are these.
But he's saying these are just ongoing projects, they're not all what
Yeah.
we do on an ongoing
I think these
basis.
are what we do. I mean, I think that's good to have that.
So,
Because they're examples of what.
No,
we
that's
do.
right, he's saying this should be the next slide after what he's saying. I'm trying to clarify what he means as opposed to this slide.
like, there's the basic things that so we meet every month regardless of ongoing projects, because there's a certain number of things that we are ultimately chartered for, such as the demolition delay law, such as house signs, such as the Patriots Day celebration. Like, if we had no active projects, we would still be here talking about April 17th and doing you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
If we had no ongoing projects, if someone wanted to tear something down, we would be convened before the demolition delay law. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I think this is good because it gives examples of the things that we've actually done and accomplished, rather than this sort of vague thing. And of course, the other thing, I mean, not that I'm against the demolition delay law, but, you know, that's sort of something we stop people from doing, maybe. But this is sort of things that we do as much more as a, so.
Well, I don't consider demolition delay law an ongoing project.
Hmm.
An ongoing project would be, we are currently evaluating 123 Smith Avenue for demolition. That would be an ongoing project. Whereas demolition delay bylaw is like one of the core of So here's another thing, Native American heritage, right? So people come with Native American heritage to us, and I think we had that evaluation of the property for preservation, right? That's not listed anywhere up there.
Which project you're talking about?
That's the thing, it's not a project. People come to us. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure what
Okay.
Native American.
What if you said like what you were saying? Your mission is to preserve the character of Littleton by enforcing the demolition bylaw, by, you know, I don't know how you'd say, like the plaques, like, making history more available. That's
Yeah.
not what I'm saying. And here are the projects that we are doing under those
Yes,
pieces.
Love it.
I'm not speaking what I want, but I know what I'm
Yeah.
thinking.
All right, I kind of get it, and I think we'll go with Carolyn's idea of saying, this is our mission, these are some examples.
Well, I think what he's saying though, is that you want to say what your mission specifically, like
yes.
how it is, and then go, and these are some of
Right.
the examples.
So I guess the only thing I'm a little confused about is, you know, our mission, okay, preserve the historical character of Littleton. By administering the demolition delay bylaw, or having a house sign program, holding an annual Patriots Day event, anything else?
Yeah, all these things. I mean, that's.
Well, you could just say that, and here are,
And here's some
Examples.
ongoing
and then
projects,
you would touch those few
Yes.
things that you mentioned, plus other things.
100%.
Okay, all right,
Think about
fine.
like the US Coast Guard, right? So US Coast Guard mission, protect the citizens and border of the United States of America. What are they charged with? In peacetime, protecting our borders, rescuing, drowning people. Like those are their missions. Ongoing projects, saved a sailor that
Got it.
fell off a boat.
Okay, got it.
Protected our border from a huge amount of cocaine. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
that's,
yes.
that's something kind
All
of
right.
different.
All right, yeah,
Upcoming future projects, buying faster boats to catch more drug smugglers.
got it. Okay, so I'll add that other slide and you guys can add to it for whatever I put on it. All right, then we go to then the next slide would be ongoing projects, and I will divide them up onto two or three slides, like
With
Andrew
photos, yeah.
said.
Lots of
with-
photos.
With photos.
People love photos.
Fewer words.
Fewer words, so, right, so let's just quickly, so I think I'll keep whether it's CPC or LHC funds, because the select board would be interested in knowing, where the funds are coming from. So let's quickly go down the list and cut out some words since we're all here. Second bullet, would you cut out any of the words about ensuring continued compliance for 12 Robinson Road?
I would just say 12 Robinson Road rehabilitation. And then you can speak to it.
Okay, do you guys agree?
How about just preservation restriction for 12 Robinson Road? And then-
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine too.
That's good,
Yep. Historic preservation restriction of 12 Robinson Road.
okay,
I mean, that's really, so.
right,
If
no, that's,
there's,
yeah.
if there's one project I dig in on, it may be that one,
Yeah.
because that just shows how engaged and active and how it all works and how, the select board were involved with that. That's an opportunity to say, hey, you bought this house and we took care of it from that point
But
forward.
many of the selectmen who were involved in it aren't on the board.
That's even more reason to bring it up.
Yeah.
Linda got it a new roof on day 3,
Which
like,
is gone now,
but it's still, we took care of it.
Right.
Like,
it needed a new roof,
it
it was
was,
leaking,
it is probably, honestly, it's literally the trophy. I know it's hard to swallow for some folks, because it's where it is, but it is literally the trophy. In the sense that, I'm pretty sure it came through. Did it come through as a chapter 65 request? I can't remember.
No.
no,
No, it was the owners, right? They
It
were
was
trying-
Crowley.
right,
She's the agent.
Realtor, yeah.
She's the one who brought it to our attention.
right.
Yeah, but it's really good.
No, I agree with that totally. I think that's the kind of thing that we should really stress, that this is what we can do. I would put that in much before the demolition delay thing. because people don't like the demolition delay thing because it stops them from tearing things down, which we like, but other people may not. But
Well,
this is the good example
right,
of how we can work together
That's right.
with people who want to preserve things. We work with them and come up with solutions that are good for everybody.
so this can go on the previous slide. Our mission is developing and ensuring compliance with historic preservation restrictions. We've done that now. We're gonna do that again for maybe Durkee and or the Orchard, so.
I agree with what Andrew said, is
Yeah.
this could be our sort of,
Trophy.
trophy thing, because this is, something we did. We worked with somebody, wasn't all smooth sailing, but we worked things out to everybody's satisfaction. And we got something preserved, and I
And
think everyone likes
As
it.
we all know, in these historical preservation restrictions, we are the grantor, or whichever we are, the grantee. The grantee, we are legally responsible for ensuring that the
Yeah.
compliance occurs, so.
So the way I'm thinking about this, and it may be the wrong frame of reference, but if I imagine a different context, which is that you're like a new employee and you're hired to a big company and you go to this orientation day and you have all of the different divisions of the company come and present to you. What you're really looking to get out of that presentation as the new employee is, what exactly does that group do and how or when would I need that group? When would I reach out to that group and what services are they uniquely providing? And so, traditionally that's what you do. You basically have an orientation where you have each division come and talk for 10 minutes about exactly what they do, right? I think of the select board are probably asking for the same thing. They just want a sort of a lay of the land, right? And like it's a huge
Maybe, I
opportunity.
think the select board kind of know what we do, but I think it would be good to give them specific ongoing projects to show what we're doing, and they supposedly, this meeting is set up to also let the select board know how they can help us.
I see. Well, I will share one piece of feedback, which was the last time that I presented at a joint meeting of the select board. They could not distinguish the difference between the LHC and the
That
society.
happens all over town. Many people do that,
So I think it's,
And not just this town.
and I think,
not just
And
in
not just
town,
in town.
yeah,
so I feel like there is,
education or.
yes, the
clarification.
premise may be off, that they know what we do.
Right, okay,
That's just me.
yep, I got it. Maybe I'll say what the society does.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
They'll go-
Oh, yeah, that'll be more, okay. All right, I get the idea. I'll do a new
You
slide.
could put in the slide that we work with historical societies to do blah, blah, blah. And that way they're like, oh, yeah, that's different. Got it.
Yeah, maybe, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I get it. And then I'll divide up the ongoing project slide. I'm gonna move up the 12 Robinson, or at least talk about historic preservation in the earlier slide as something that we do as a service that we provide. All right, so wait, let's go through this, if you don't mind. What other language should I take out here? Let's look at each bullet. West Lawn Cemetery, that's pretty straightforward, right? Durkee Farmhouse,
Well, again, I would,
what?
West Lawn Cemetery rehabilitation, I would just
Okay,
Yeah.
have it as that.
fine. Yep, next.
Rehabilitation options.
Yeah, I was saying assessing historical character of the Durkee farmhouse.
You would say that,
I would say that.
or just, he's saying just say rehabilitation.
Sure.
Historic
I'm fine with
rehabilitation
I'm fine with
options.
that.
All right,
I'll give Jonathan that one.
all right.
I spent all my career, or at least my later career when PowerPoint was invented, telling my students not to put too many words
Right,
into things. I've seen so many presentations where people have their whole talk on the slides, and all they did was read the slides, and
Right,
there's nothing,
You're right.
you hated
All right,
words.
the next
Well,
one, I'll
that's what
just,
I think, don't forget, I think this over 3 slides with a bunch
No,
of
I agree
pictures
with
is
you.
gonna, so you may actually want some words, right? So, because you'll have less words, cause you'll pull them out, yeah, so.
Nagog, I'll just say Nagog Hill Orchard and talk about it.
We can
Yeah,
talk about it,
All
yeah. Again, I think that the important thing is that it's not about adding it to Macris, it's about surveying its historical significance and
Mhm.
recording it.
yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay,
Or
right,
surveying and recording historical significance.
yeah, okay, good. All right, next is anticipated projects. Maybe I'll divide this one up too.
Can you move to the next slide?
What? Oh, sorry.
Next slide. Next slide, please.
So I'll divide this one up into 2 or 3 as well. And I can tone that, take out some of the words. Do you have any thoughts on the content? Would you change some of the content?
Again, eliminate as many words
Yeah.
as you possibly can.
Add more pictures.
Yeah,
So couple questions. So historic districts, right? So that's not us. We can
I know,
go to the
but-
select board and propose that they start a feasibility.
I know, that's
study.
on the next slide if you haven't, but that's on the next slide is, anyway. But I think we should mention.
You wanna go there?
Districts.
Yeah,
I think we have to.
Put the bug in their ear now.
Well, like on the next,
Sure. All right. So
Whatever.
if you bring it up in the next slide, I would probably not put it on this slide.
no, the next slide is different.
Okay.
Anyway, think about anticipated upcoming projects.
Okay.
Anything that I didn't list on anticipated upcoming projects?
So I think that should be Nagog Hill Orchard.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The
And
rest
historic
of the
district should be,
crossover, like, why is that on already?
On the slide before.
because she put survey and.
Okay, so they are two different.
they are
Well,
different.
but I could sort of combine them.
Well, no, because we're actively surveying
Right.
for
Yeah,
I just
historical
want to make sure, right, that
significance.
they're
Right.
distinct.
they are
enough that you're not,
distinct.
like,
They are distinct.
Yeah. And then
double
we'll go
dipping
into
on the information.
Yeah.
Conservation.
Right.
So mill building. So what if you just put preservation, like Nagog Hill Orchard, building preservation, mill building preservation, Tuttle House preservation.
Okay. We
um,
could.
Starting historic preservation awards.
Or could you do like some like preservation projects and then indent mill
Yes.
building, Tuttle House.
Yeah,
orchard
or
building.
Or you
Yeah.
do that as the title, you have pictures of each, and then you put the word underneath the picture, so Tuttle House. You show the Tuttle House, you show the Nagar Hill house.
Is Tuttle House still potentially something, or isn't it?
Well, the Tuttle House is now owned by a private owner, Lapoli, who owns the IBM site.
Yeah,
However, the reason I have this on here is that I want this commission to be part of the town discussion of the revitalization of the common, which will include town-owned buildings, will include the mill building, will include IBM. Lapoli has indicated that he wants to work with the town. We may have different ideas about preservation for some of these historic preservation sites, but I think he's willing to talk to us. We want to encourage him to talk to us, see what we can come up with as some agreement we can, that's why it's on it.
May I ask why, we have a statement of the funding source for all these things?
I guess we don't have to, but I think that's something that the select board will be particularly interested in, like, who's funding this? Is it coming from CPC funds? Is it gonna come from town funds? What are you proposing? That's why, because I think they will wanna know. Anyway. All right, so, yeah, anyway.
I'm not sure about general. General historic
All right,
preservation
I could
consultant.
take out general, but we should say something about, and we can talk about this further actually in a minute. Historic preservation consultant assistance. Is that too vague?
It sounds like a GL line item in a
What does that
budget,
mean, GL?
general ledger. It sounds like a budget item.
Yeah,
Well, it is a budget item.
But that's, I
but
don't,
then that wouldn't be a project.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think you may want to say that in these preservation activities, we
Mm.
rely
Mm.
on experts and consultants sometimes to provide.
that's a good point, yeah.
Yeah,
Experts, people like the cemetery people who do the
Yes.
work for that and consultants who do other things and, various people, and we have to pay them.
Yeah, why is funding the Littleton Historic Commission important?
Mm.
Well, it's because within our mission of preservation, we sometimes need funds to, appropriately prepare for CPA applications and to evaluate if something is historically significant before we spend town funds on rehabilitation. Like that, that's how I'd probably frame that, just.
okay,
Can you just say anticipated projects? Or all anticipated?
sure,
projects up there?
yes, anticipated projects,
Yeah,
yes,
you don't need to solve historic commission.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
all right. Okay,
And you don't need upcoming either.
no, I'm taking upcoming out. All right, now this next slide, I think may be important. How select board can help. Oh, sorry. All right, so you can just look at it and see what you think.
Also map.
Yeah, so I don't know whether this can be, and it might take too much time to develop, but you have, the society has some sort of map of historic sites around town, which you lent to me.
Oh, yeah, from
It's old.
1976.
Yeah, it's old.
Oh, was it bicentennial map?
Yeah.
Oh. That could be something.
Right.
We could,
Do something. like
So I thought maybe we could do it under the budget for,
sure.
the 2025 Patriots Day thing, but we would have to redo it. You think we'd have to
that.
add sites?
I don't know what you'd want to do with it.
I don't know either. So it's kind of a project.
Is it, how big is it? It's, and I'm guessing it's not digitized.
No, it's just paper.
Could you at least take a phone picture of it and send it to me, just so I can have a look at it and come up with some ideas?
We also have a guy who's working on like a map of Littleton where you, like you were talking about earlier, you hit it and it
Yeah.
comes up and it says, this is the such and such. He's
Yeah.
got that like started.
Yeah.
Right.
So the question is, could we get this, some sort of map finished by,
It,
Okay.
again, it depends on what it looks like, so if you could just send me a quick snap of
Yeah.
it, and then I can take a look at it, cause maybe.
right, anyway, that's not the, so,
But aren't they gonna say you already have money?
Yeah, we do already have.
no, I know, I wouldn't ask them for money for this.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry, no, this is
Oh.
getting confusing. No, this next page is how that's up, the next slide is how the select board can help.
I can write up something. and-
So, right, so all I have there is, Rachel needs to write something up.
Okay.
That's all. And I put the map in there because maybe we want to do the
Okay.
map under her budget.
But how would the select board help you with that?
Cause
Yeah,
what I need what we need them to do is basically just get the word out and get groups to sign up to be part of
well,
it.
they're not gonna help do that, I don't think. And why do you want us to do
If
that?
it can, cause it never hurts for them or anybody to say, or even if I just say it at the meeting, or it gets said at the meeting, if people are there, it's getting the word out. If somebody's like, oh, I'm involved with the group, we could be there. It's maybe not even so much as the select board could do
Okay.
it, but it's,
This is my thought.
or that they could mention it to someone that they know and da, 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 da.
This is my thought. Take this line item, 2025, 250th anniversary Patriots Day celebration, out of this slide, put it on the previous slide of anticipated projects.
Mhm.
And that's where you would talk about it,
Sure.
because the select board doesn't really, I don't know why I put it in here. So,
Well, I
So-
think it's fine to have it there of like acknowledge, hey, you gave us money, thank you so much. Now
Right.
how you can help us make.
but
it
how are they gonna help?
Is to promote it, is to tell people about
Okay,
it.
they could
you know,
promote it, true.
Show up.
Yeah.
So should I leave it on here?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
So
I, don't
help
worry,
us
I can,
promote
I
it.
can write something for that.
promote it.
All right, so you're gonna write up something for
Yeah.
this slide.
You may also mention, I mean, 250 is special, but a select board member comes every year to speak.
True, true.
And,
So mention that.
and if that's how they help us annually without this being a special year, but I would probably say something like,
Right.
select board a selected member speaks annually at the event. This year is a special presentation. We'd love to help,
We'd love to see all members there. We'd love to,
And
again,
promote it, yeah.
promote it. If you know someone who has it, like, you have been there for the Democrats, like, do you guys want to have a booth and do something?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll leave it here and you'll write
Do
something
you
up
want
for
a
the slide.
doctor at the
You want a what?
a
doctor at the event?
Ah,
You could dress up like an old timey doctor. Wait, do we have, who was the
Can I
doctor?
do bloodletting and?
Oh,
You can dress up as Enoch Knoll
and we could kill you in the middle.
and you can go around doctoring people.
Excellent.
We could do
Excellent.
amputations.
All right, so look at this slide and see if you think it's useful or if you would change anything.
So my only thought would be like that last one, I would think about reversing only because you're basically saying they can help by allowing us to have a budget. And we would use the budget for things like hiring historic preservation
All
consultants.
right, that particular item is a little, might be changed. I was initially thinking, as I mentioned, it's even on our agenda of asking for an increase in our town
Yeah.
budget. However, I had a conversation with someone the other day, maybe yesterday. And his suggestion is that instead of that, we might want to consider trying to get a trust, like the Affordable Housing Trust at the CPC has a special fund of a large amount of money.
Yeah.
And each year, the money gets CPC fund, they put in applications or so, or maybe they don't even put every year, I don't know. They put in applications and then the money goes to the Affordable Housing Trust. So it was suggested to me that maybe this board for historic consultants, instead of, asking for an increase in the Littleton Town budget for us, that we try to get a similar, perhaps, kind of trust fund at the CPC of like whatever we decide, 20,000 a year, and whatever we don't use would go back to the fund. So I initially contacted Carolyn as
Yes, I
chair of the
Didn't get back to
CPC.
you either.
And I don't know, we haven't talked about it. So whether that's viable, I don't know.
I don't know, because did you say that Stuart said that that was okay? Because in the CPA bylaws, they make provisions for a conservation fund and a historic housing fund, but it doesn't specifically say a historic preservation fund. But that doesn't necessarily mean you can't do it,
All right, so we need to figure this
Yeah.
out. So all I'm saying,
but it must have been a selectman.
no, it was,
Don't
a-
ask us.
yeah, it was a selectman that I spoke to, not Stewart at the
Yeah.
coalition. Stewart did say to me a few months ago that he thinks the use of CPC funds for historic preservation consultants is a good use of the funds. That's all he said
That's
to me.
good to know.
All right, so this last item on this slide may be changed a little bit to say, select board supports CPC fund and or increased LHC budget, one or the other. To acquire consultants on as needed
I would
basis,
leave
no?
out,
What?
no,
No, go ahead. What?
I'm
I'm
just-
gonna say leave out CPC.
no, I'm just gonna say leave out select board helps.
Oh,
I would just say help and leave, because it all says how select board can help.
Yeah,
And so then you don't have to put select board in each of those,
right.
items. I mean, I'm sort of always crossing things out when I edit, so.
Could it be how you can help? So it feels personal.
How you can help. Yeah.
And, or maybe then, and then it could be for people in the audience, not even necessarily so much directed at select board.
but this is directed to
I
the
know.
select board,
I
how
know.
the select board can help.
I like the concept though, make it about
What? You?
Well, you're presenting to them.
Right.
is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it the way it is.
If you like it the way it
Not
is,
select board map, and I do like specifically
We
saying,
like that you put these slides together.
yeah, right, exactly. All right. Well, unless you have like
You
some,
can keep the title whatever
All right.
you want.
if you have anything
On
to
yours.
add to this, let me, or delete from this, let me know. All right. Then the last slide, or I don't know. I don't know what to say on like a final slide, so you guys can help me figure out what to do with this final slide.
Next.
put it up so we
Oh,
can
I'm
see.
sorry.
So my thought is, there's one thing that I always go back to that I think is important to mention, which is that in the space of historic preservation, right? If you don't protect the resource, once it's gone forever.
Mhm.
And I think that's a really important point to emphasize, because there are only so many houses that were built in the 1600s, just an example, that are still there. And if you don't preserve them today, then there'll be no house, so like I keep going back to, what makes this so important is it's like an invaluable resource that without the select board supporting, without the town having an affinity towards recognizing its past, it will be lost forever. And once it's lost, it can't be
I
recovered.
like that.
Very good statement.
Absolutely.
I think that was very well put, and I think that would be a good way to
I
conclude.
think that's how you close it.
Okay, good. All right, I'll work on that. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you, you did
Yeah,
a
thank
lot
you.
of work.
Right.
You did a lot of work.
I have to start somewhere. All
We
right.
pass a motion to recognize Linda Stein for her work.
Well, She does so much, I mean.
Let's
you
see
know,
here.
Not just this, so many other things.
So I guess the only thing left is there anything that we need to talk about for the Patriots Day? Yeah.
No, we don't need that. No, it's,
Coming quickly.
I know, I'll talk about, don't say that, don't say that.
I do, we have I don't know if anyone remembers Bob Spinozzi. He used to do a lot of, programs on LCTV. He's in the area now, and he wants to do something in the area,
Okay,
but wants to include Littleton.
okay.
So we're gonna meet Saturday at 10:30 in the library, and anyone can join. I don't know if
Okay.
you are able to come. I think we're
Saturday,
gonna be a
10:30.
very small portion of a
Sure.
program, but.
Okay. Yeah, at this point it's booking stuff and getting it organized, and I'm trying to be optimistic that people will say they'll join and, have groups and tables and things like that, so.
Have you been in touch with the groups too?
I've sent out one email to a bunch of a wide variety of groups, including, I think I had it all BCC, didn't I?
Mm.
But I included different Littleton youth sports groups, the Girl Scouts. I sent a message to the Boy Scouts on Facebook. They never got back, but I know someone who's part of it. I can reach out to her. The Girl Scouts, again, it's been brought to their attention. I think they're gonna do something, but they haven't signed up. But the woman, Julie, sounded very excited about it. And I sent something to the Rotary Club. No one from them has reached out. Dirigible has said they'll be there. So my list is, I just gotta get, now that we're past holidays, gotta get food trucks. There's some bouncy houses. I think there's a race company for the 2.5K. I think I might reach out to the guy who does the Littleton Road Race to see if they do want to do it, or else whatever we have.
We're
the
gonna have a
money, we
road
can
race
just-
connected with it? How's
I
that
think it'd
gonna
be fun
work?
to do a 2.5K, for 250th, which is 1.5 miles. So it's half a
Very
5K
short.
and 1.5 miles.
So who's gonna organize the road race? The
Well,
neighborhood?
I'm hoping that the people that do the Littleton
Yeah.
Road Race, and we could even give them the money to do it, that it could just be a free event that people can just, they'd still have to sign up. They do theirs through RaceWire, who I've worked with for the Sudbury Road Race. before. They're very easy. Honestly, road races are not that hard. Just usually when you're trying to make money off of it, you're trying to do stuff. But it's not there's not no cost to it, but that's not a huge amount. Worst case scenario, I do one every year. I could throw it together. We have the money, we can pay for it. And so I'm gonna email the groups again, though, try to get everyone excited. And porta potties, that's not a thing to think about.
Mm.
Good point.
And the location is Fay Park?
I mean, with these drought conditions, they should be good to go.
You have a backup plan though, if Fay Park is flooded,
No.
you better make
I
one.
mean, maybe the IBM area, which it is, unless it's going to be dug up by then, but they had Oktoberfest there, which was
Oh, they
actually kind of
did?
great.
Oh, you'd have to,
Oktoberfest there was
I
great.
assume you have to ask Lapoli for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll ask Park and Rec how they managed it.
Okay, yeah, it's probably a good idea
If
just
they're
have a
not,
backup.
if they're not doing construction yet, I think that was our concern, is that like,
Mm.
we don't know when their construction is.
Right,
I can't believe I missed Oktoberfest. What was it? They had a thing in the parking lot?
So usually they do it at they've done it at Fay Park. They moved it last, 2023, because it was flooded.
Yeah.
Fay Park was
Ah.
flooded. They did like nothing in Fay Park in 2023. So they moved it to the parking or the grass area of IBM, which is great because you plenty of parking. It was very safe.
Yeah.
that wasn't
like a
flooded,
nice
that
long-
grass area?
I guess not. No, it's nice. It's nice and long and you can,
Oh,
so,
great.
but, no, Fay Park's kind of central and then
Yeah,
obviously
but you might wanna
easier to
check,
include.
you might wanna check into the backup,
Yeah,
yeah, just in case. if it's
Sure.
flooded. And then as you know, we've been in touch with the finance people and
Yes,
they
I
have,
did. I've seen the emails. I haven't really.
Yeah, so-
processed it, but-
Rachel, if you're hiring anybody like porta potties or whatever
Yeah.
groups that you're gonna pay.
Yeah.
You need to set up a purchase order through the finance department.
Yeah, yeah. That would be easy.
And we need signs and banners.
Mhm.
So that would be part of the budget.
Yeah. so-
We need a purchase order for that. And I guess one question I have for you is, as John has spoken to us several times, we need general new signs and banners for every year for the Patriots Day. Do we want two different kinds of signs, one specific to this big event this year, 250th, and separate signs and separate signs and banners for every other year?
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so
this
maybe,
one is a bigger one not that we don't always want people to show up. The other one, but this one for the signage and banners, well, maybe not so much a banner, but signage. It's a time, because our signs always say April 19th at 7 PM, Liberty
so
Square.
this is gonna, right, so we need
So
separate ones.
We need separate
Yeah.
signs.
Maybe we can use this company, this plaque company does signs. They're a sign company who gets plaques,
Yeah.
So I think she'd be great. So I'll give you her name
Sure.
and you have to find out how long it would take her to make the signs. You have to order the signs, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
I was gonna work with Alpha Graphics.
Oh, that's fine,
In Westford.
fine,
Um,
fine.
We did the we did the
Mm-hmm.
things.
So you need to do that,
So, yeah.
find out how
Yeah.
long it'll take. All
Oh,
right,
they're very quick. Their turnaround is very quick.
anything else?
Again, just if you know of a group that could have, and there's a website, littleton250th.com.
Let me write that down.
And then there's a sign up, Google form, Google sheet on there for people to sign up. So it's got ideas, or people can do whatever they want. And some options are, we've got lantern making, colonial children's games, a bake sale, maybe colonial treats, face painting, stocks, photo booth with revolutionary, that word's too hard, Revolution era clothing, story time, puppet show, and
But people would have to organize each of these on
they
their
would
own.
have to each do one. Yeah, they would have to have a booth this would be their thing. So one booth could be face painting.
So
One
the
booth could be-
website says these are suggestions you could do
Mhm.
with your group?
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else?
Will the Boxborough Minutemen be there?
I don't know. Have we
Oh, we
reached
should
out?
do that.
We have an email from them. We've
Oh,
got to
yeah.
get back
Oh,
to
shit.
them.
Yeah.
I know,
Good.
I just, somebody just said, here's Carolyn's email, so
Yeah.
I'll look at that
Okay.
tonight and forward it to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, we gotta get with them.
Yeah.
CC me on that one, just to make
Okay.
sure that doesn't fall through, because
Yeah.
Andrew used to do that.
Yes.
yeah.
So he's not doing that now, so we want to make sure,
Yeah,
because
I
I spoke to
just
them
assumed
at
that they
last
would
year's
be
and said, we
involved,
want you to do our 250.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said, okay, I think they said, okay,
Yeah.
but we have to,
yeah, because they're doing something too, so we need to kind of
Right.
figure it out.
Yeah, let's-
How easy they
They're
are.
doing something with Luther Blanchard, but I'm not sure it's the same day, so
Oh, okay.
I'll look at that tonight.
Okay. Again, we have money on our side, so like that is a little bit of a load off where I'm like, we're gonna have stuff. There will be things to do. It will be an event. It might not be the world's greatest event, but at least we tried. We're gonna try. So,
Okay, somebody brought this up a while back and said, we gotta do more on somebody from around the neighborhood there.
yes.
mhm,
Said, we gotta do more on Patriots Day, we should really fix up the place and so on. And one of the things he said was that once upon a time, Carolyn probably remembers this, that the high school band would participate in this. Have we talked to them?
part of my email was I reached out to the theater group, all the history teachers. One teacher did respond and was like, I don't think we can do anything, but thanks for letting us know. So I have included schools, I've included principals, I included every art teacher that I could find on the Littleton School, Public School website. Art teacher, theater people, history people.
Maybe you could add, though, the band director.
Yeah, schools are notoriously bad for getting back to you.
Right.
first. Yeah.
And they've gotten worse, and I don't wanna begrudge them, cause like, I get it, but like. Yeah, it's not the same as being like, you just contact the school and they get back to you, they don't.
No, I know, I've had that experience when even just trying to, I remember when I was running
Right.
the Patriots Day thing, trying to find somebody and
Yeah.
ask them if they could find a trumpeter and
Right.
to play taps, and there
Yeah.
there was no response at all.
I would love, you
I
know,
was surprised at that, because you'd think they would wanna be.
there's so much that you think is gonna like, it seems obvious and yet.
With Lyceum, we try to offer them a free program and they won't get back to us for that either.
Yeah.
I mean, we've come to you, we
Mhm.
fund it, we do everything,
Mhm.
no response. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not even a, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not surprised you're not.
Yeah, so I get what you're saying, but
No,
it's
but
not as easy as.
I understand there must be reasons why
Mhm.
this is, maybe they just feel
They're busy.
overwhelmed
They're
with
busy and yeah,
Busy.
you
what
know,
they do,
Yeah.
and, I don't know.
so anyways, there will be stuff. Things will happen.
So you still have to reach out to the food trucks.
I do have to
Yeah.
reach out to food trucks. There's a handful of them listed on the Littleton Department of Health website that we can contact, so. And that will be, we'll have to pay for them, so.
Okay. Anything else? Are we ready to adjourn, or is there anything else before we adjourn? Oh, next meeting date.
Next meeting?
February 12th? Is that right?
Lincoln's birthday.
Oh, is that right?
February 12th.
Yeah.
Does that work for everyone?
Mhm.
Okay.
Generally works.
And yeah,
Yes, it's fine. That's fine. I may be a little late just because I am now on Wednesdays chaperoning, well, the chaperoning the ski club. I
wow.
think they get back at like 7. I think we end at 7.
Oh,
So I
okay.
will maybe do what I did today.
Yeah. All right, but if you can, again, you might need to call in because we
Yeah.
need a quorum.
no, I know, no, I totally understand, so. I guess on the following week it's April vacation.
Speaking of course, I did talk to Diane Decker again.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
She said she's more interested in doing something else.
Hmm.
And so she didn't think she would want to rejoin, but she wasn't sure that that other thing would work out. If it doesn't, she might still be interested.
Okay.
I tried to encourage her.
Guess we should all try to find somebody who might be interested.
Encourage
Do you
John.
want me to text Ed or Ed, you? Yes, or is he joining,
Sure.
is he going back on planning board?
You think he is?
I don't
I don't know. I don't know, why not?
know. Okay.
It'd be great. Good resource.
Yeah.
How desperate, really?
Have you heard anything from Donna, whether she's gonna be able to make it
I
work?
haven't heard anything lately from her. I don't know whether she can make Wednesday nights or not.
Has anyone heard from John? How's he doing?
Well, I saw him
Yeah,
at the wake, which is
but
not,
his lights are on at the house. It seems like they're home.
not sure. I haven't seen him around. There's his son who
Right.
lives there. There's a tenant.
So
who
maybe
lives
we should
there.
adjourn and then we can talk about this.
So,
Is there
yeah,
anything before we adjourn? Because we're still being recorded. Do
I move we adjourn.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.